The end of Warrior Season 3 is near. Man, feels like last week I just started doing breakdown videos and stuff, and now time flew by so quick that we're all here already. One episode away from the finale. Good times. But let's get to breaking down episode 9. The episode opens up with Douglas discovering that Lai has infiltrated his home, and they have a duel. And just when you think Lai is about to lose, Douglas does either the most disrespectful or most respectful move in a sword fight. He gives Lai her sword and basically says, "That all you got? You came all this way just to do that? Maybe you're not worth the fight." So Lai gets back up and resumes the fight. And intro. So did Lai win? No. She gets whooped and thrown off to Nellie, who brings her bruised body back to Atoy. Atoy is taking care of her wounds later, and she's shown to be unconscious but breathing. Speaking of unconscious people, I know, terrible segue, but turns out Atwood got his ass kicked so hard by Bill last episode that he's now in the hospital, and Buckley is in need of a new police chief. I'm personally a little conflicted about it. Bill's decision to take the job as chief of police basically brings him back to square one. I mean, he's with his family and all and that, but his wife wouldn't come back to him unless he was out specifically of Chinatown and just doing regular police business. But with Buckley, he wants his political agenda to go towards Chinatown and enforcing laws on it and stuff, especially with the Exclusion Act, because Bill's priorities, even though he's not in the Chinatown squad anymore, still relies heavily in Chinatown now that he's chief. So he's going to have to enforce some sort of method like how Atwood did. So Bill kind of basically himself, in a way, if you think about it. Plus, who's to say that his Chinatown stuff won't come back to bite him in the ass? Zing. Our other Irishman, on the other hand, Leary, is finally ready for Douglas to give his fellow Irishmen jobs since he helped Buckley become mayor. But Douglas fucking lied and only wants to make Leary a rich asshole like him before giving back to the community. I believe Douglas tried to make Larry a rich asshole like him by showing him what he could do with all this wealth and power and all that, but we've seen Leary since season 1, and we know he's down for his people. He's not gonna want wealth, power, money, or status of any kind as long as he can get his fellow Irishmen and their family jobs. Of course, he hires the Donahue Bros to help him blow up one of Douglas's bridges, and we see good old gangsta Leary from season 1 and 2 make a return. Leary confronts Douglas at a rich duck banquet and basically draws a battle line between him and Douglas. And I can't wait to see how this plays out in season 4 if we get it. Wherever Leary goes from here, I think he'll be way more dangerous than before, because now that he has knowledge of how the rich people work, he's gonna be gunning for not only the Chinese, but the rich also. Back with one of our Hopway boys, young June gets bad news from a doctor that Father June won't recover mentally and that he can help end his suffering. But young June quickly tells him to off with that thought. Father June tells young June that it's hopeless to try to keep him alive, but he tries to be optimistic. Father June then begs young June to give him a death with dignity, but young June is unwilling to do so. Father June then sternly reminds him that he is the leader of the Hop Way and that he must act like it. And just as he tells Father June he loves him, he ends his mental suffering by killing him. Father June, for the first time, refers to young June as his son, slowly dies, ending his part within the story. It was sad watching young June have to end Father June's suffering, because if you think about it, these two would have never been put in this position or even through all this suffering had Assam just let the deal with the crowds go smoothly. And it also surprises me that young June doesn't really blame Assam for inadvertently causing Father June's death in a way. Meanwhile, Hong is having a chill time with Marcel until he gets hit on by an off-duty cop, who just happened to be the same cop that pulled the gun on him when they were raided by Atwood in episode 4. It was crazy to see this type of anger flare up in Hong. He's usually always the cool, chill mediator between Assam and young June, but to see him finally snap like this was very surprising. And it almost makes you wonder, what set off Hong? What did it take for him to finally just snap? Last season, when one of the Hopway brothers was making fun of his sexuality at breakfast, Hong kept his cool really well, so why lose it now? I'm assuming it has to do with how much he's seen Chinese suffer at the hands of the ducks throughout, that, it kind of makes him bitter, in a way, I guess you could say. And I suppose this justification makes more sense too, since he does have a falling out with Marcel, and argues how he's living in a fantasy world, while everyone else in the real world is suffering at the hands of ducks. Our main protagonist, Assam, on the other hand, helps Yan Mi with an escape plan to free her from Young Jun's clutches after the Hopway printing trainees make good enough counterfeit dollars. Yan Mi tries to convince Assam to run away with her, and Assam wants to, but he's torn between two paths, choosing love or choosing brotherhood. But of course, he still has some time left to choose a path. Love is the death of duty, and duty is the death of love. Such is life. Back in Longzi territory, Li Young comes back to Mai Ling, only to discover she is heavily guarded, afraid for her life. Li Young powers past the Longzi brother to confront Mai Ling, but she begins to cry and he wipes away her fearful tears before walking away, also leaving his Longzi jacket behind. I was hoping for more of a resolution with the Longzi story thread in this episode, but this is all we get. I also think that Mai Ling is going to start to feel the walls close in on her like how Young Jun did, because she just lost the very last person she trusts. Not to mention, he might even join Chow, the true neutral party. Speaking of Chow, he gives a great eulogy at the funeral of Father Jun that feels like stuff you hear spoken in your native Asian language at Asian funerals, except it's translated into English, and the lines hit twice as hard when you put it into your own perspective. I can't explain the scene justice on this little YouTube breakdown. You just have to watch the scene yourself and make your own personal connection with it. Meanwhile, Yan Mi returns home to discover her father's print shop has been searched by Lee and Mosley, who have discovered counterfeit chop in their stash, and arrests her. Assam learns about this news from Yan Mi's brother, and he goes straight to the police to make a deal on exchanging the money press plates for Yan Mi. Damn, Assam! Walking in like that into the Bulls territory? Are you crazy? I honestly can't believe Assam cut a deal with the police. He even gets Chow involved by having him hold on to his bag of chop with 2 train tickets and helping Yan Mi escape freely when she's freed. I get he really loves her and is doing all this for her, but it's a big-ass move. He has chosen love over brotherhood, and there are consequences. And we won't get to see those consequences until the finale. I don't know how this will all resolve, but all I know is that Assam is treading on very thin fucking ice with his actions right now, and I don't like that he basically put everything on the line for Yan Mi and is expecting something because he's still conflicted. He still hasn't really made a decision on whatever, because he wants to be loyal to the Tong, but then he also wants to be loyal to Yan Mi, and I'm just like, choose a side already! Also, the Jamaican gang that Happy Jack once led now has Chow by the throat, but he's going to lead them to the chop machine, which will make them the fall guys for the operation, but I doubt that's going to be a squeaky clean switch and bait tactic, since the Bulls were already looking for the Hopway's chop machine previously. Keyword, Hopway. Young Jun also really surprised me with how he recovered from mercy killing Father Jun. He feels less guilt about it, but more control and focus from doing so. And that makes me scared of how he'll react when he learns that Assam was going to sell out the entire Hopway to protect Yan Mi. Because Young Jun doesn't blame Assam for causing Father Jun's injury, which inadvertently led to his mercy killing, but he might blame Assam when he learns about his betrayal. Holy shit, I can't even right now. There's going to be so much betrayal in the next episode, and I don't know, things are going to be tense. Overall, episode 9 set up a lot of high stakes for the finale, and it also makes me worried that they're not going to be able to wrap it all up. Assam's obviously not going to get killed. He's the main character, but he could forever be exiled from the Hopway, or even just thrown to the wayside and left in the gutter, like in season 1. Young Jun might just finally become the leader Father Jun believed he could be. Leary is going back to his gangster roots with more accumulated knowledge and manpower. Mai Ling may finally lose control of the Longzi without an ally by her side. Chow could die, and there's way too many things that could happen that I'm just going to wait for episode 10 to happen, and then we're just going to go from there and just have it be on their spot and we just react to it. Whew. I need to take a small breather. But if you enjoy the breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And hit the bell so you never miss a breakdown. Stay itchy, my fellow onions.